Horse pills. First of all, it's not a pill. It's an intravenous infusion. A nurse does your treatment at the hospital in the same clinic for electroconvulsive therapy. Secondly, it comes on like a cat, running its tail between your legs, not like a bronco bucking. And then you are the cat. You are the Alan Watts cat falling out of a tree in a beautiful, gentle, relaxed way. And you realize that everything in the world is falling too. And instead of feeling that same old anxious need to cling to all the doomed, fugacious things falling alongside you, you just fall. So in about 60 minutes, you land light on your metatarsals, eat a digestive cookie, sip some ginger ale, and get astounded by how you once thought your only option was hitting the ground with a sudden heavy splat and compound fractures. Was my monstrous depression seeded in my brain before birth, or was it grown by circumstance? My DNA, my parents, what I learned in school and from television, these are myriad threads woven into my choices, into how I see myself and the world. Most of my life, I've been a person who doesn't know how to be. The man I marry is 22 years older than me. He's wise and thrilling. He's Tony Rosato. He's Canadian comedy royalty, one of the original cast members of SCTV. And he gives me attention. He's very affectionate, and I eat it up. He says he'll love and protect and take care of me forever. I eat that up too. We secretly elope only 4 months after we meet. Then I get pregnant. I'm like a frog, and Tony knows the secret to boiling frogs. If you try to put a frog in boiling water, she will jump out. Put her in tepid water first and heat it slowly. She'll stay until it's too late. The cure for pain. A wise Sufi once observed, the cure for pain is in the pain. The Bible says, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. The crack is how the light gets inside Leonard Cohen. Pain gets worse the harder you fight it. Relief comes only when you lean into the throbbing heart of what hurts. I'm flattered by Tony's possessiveness. He wants me all to himself. He chooses my clothes and throws out my sentimental things. He needs all my time, and I need to make him happy. But Tony is paranoid and has a hair-trigger temper. I walk on eggshells. The frog is cooked. I'm already married. I'm already pregnant. Instruments for operating on mutant women. You don't notice how badly you hunch your shoulders until Tony criticizes you for perpetually cringing. You read a book about a woman with a deformed spine who hates herself so much she brings men home from bars to beat her up until the night she gets stabbed 18 times, a thick red candle shoved up her vagina. Sadness is stored in your body. You don't realize that pain is always hungry for pain, that the way to freedom is to give up trying to pay for your crimes. The trick is figuring out you never had to be good in the first place. Tony hears voices claiming I've cheated on him with hundreds of men. I deny it 1,000 times. He interrogates me for days without food or sleep until I falsely confess. This is a colossal mistake. Now he must cleanse me of my sins. In my 9th month of pregnancy, Tony moves me to Toronto and forbids me from telling my family. I give birth to my daughter Julieta only weeks later. I beg him to call my mother, but Tony refuses. Don't I know that my mother is attacking him on the astral plane? Tony believes he is chosen by God to create a new spirit realm for the best of the best. But Julieta's crying ruins his focus. To discipline her, Tony forces her to sleep in a sealed room thick with sage smoke. He changes her diaper and says he's furious with my parents for sending images of child molestation into his brain. What every victim should know. Forget logic. Intuition is all. Forget past and future. Ride bareback with the present. Expose your tenderest flesh to it. This is important. This is how to live through anything. Avoid hard and fast rules. Staying conscious for any situation depends entirely on everything else in the universe and the cool jazz you improvise with it. A self-defense instructor will teach you to gouge your house key into your assailant's eye. According to an episode of Forensic Files, you should scratch your killer's skin before he murders you, so the scientists can scrape his DNA from under your fingernails. If you want a chance to survive, however, surrender. On November 3rd, 1984, in Tampa, Florida, Lisa McVeigh caresses serial killer Bobby Joe Long's face like a lover would and escapes a 9mm bullet to the head. Life cannot evolve without suffering. In order to create, you must first be destroyed. Getting free of zip ties, or the point of a knife, or tan-colored Volkswagen Beetles with dismantled passenger side door handles requires a gap between thoughts, a leaping off point into unmapped sky territory. Acquiesce and kiss the ground the way apples in trees obey the violence of gravity. Always. Before you know it, you're making your break for it, gleeful, no coat, no shoes, and for all you're worth, into the uncomplicated night wilderness, drunk on your own stark raving liberation. I flee with my baby to a homeless shelter. My mother drives through a blizzard on the 401 to take us to Kingston Interval House, a domestic abuse shelter. Believing we've been kidnapped by Jehovah's Witnesses and replaced by imposters, Tony reports us missing. He's arrested for criminally harassing me and diagnosed with Capgras syndrome. His psychiatrist cites a Mississauga man with Capgras syndrome who recently murdered both his parents. Tony is denied bail. After choosing prison over a mental hospital and delaying trial 2.5 years by firing 7 lawyers in a row, Tony is found guilty and sent to Providence Care Hospital's forensic unit for 3 years. I sink into depression. Prescribed antidepressants and lorazepam, I sleep most of the day, overcome by the fear of dying at any moment. What Peter O'Toole wants his tombstone to say. After Peter O'Toole sends his old leather jacket to the Sycamore cleaners, they send it back pinned with the note, "We are distressed to return work which is not perfect." You think of that night 1,000,000 years ago in the backyard when your dad lifted you up into the night sky to show you the Big Dipper. Maybe this was the year you birthed the first star in your constellation of defects, your left thumb permanently deformed by sucking it, a small white scar on your arm where you once tried cutting, piercing holes, tattoos, a pregnancy striated belly, and a dent by your right clavicle where a dysplastic mole was removed. You've curated a patina of disfigurements, and when your body moves, your scars move in tandem like a murmuration of starlings. But it's not the body that decides which way to go, just as the sky doesn't tell each starling where to fly. It's something scientists can't explain, something swirling on the edge of transformation, like crystals taking shape or avalanches. It's the wabi-sabi thread that sews everything together, each starling to all the others, and layer upon layer, the perfectly imperfect leather jacket of living. I write a memoir, Romancing the Buzzard. In an interview with the Toronto Quarterly, I brazenly claim to have learned my lesson from my marriage. I'll never let this happen again, until I do. Lonely, I start a new relationship. I see red flags, but I stay, unable to admit that I've trapped myself again. When this is over, it all falls away as Susan Smith's burgundy Mazda rolls down the boat ramp and sinks to the muddy John D. Long Lake bottom, where deep within, past marrow and mitochondria, decay yields to dandelions, and the unknown is known, without heckling thoughts or doomed plans or the guilt of a grisly secret. Susan Smith is as human as you, all bodily fluid and monstrous urge, tall tale and whole story. The trick is to hoist your tired bones and shamelessly exhume your shame. And when you sift through the loveless havoc you visited upon your own families, so too do you evolve a space for beatitude and for the kindness to tell yourselves, this too shall pass. My new relationship requires me to sever all ties with Tony. Confused, he texts me over and over. I never respond. A dead tomato. It's strange now to remember when you laid your head on Tony's bare chest and listened to his strong heart beat and wished out loud that it would never stop. And then, when your daughter is 12, comes a January morning so cold it's astringent, and the police officer says Tony is dead. You ask if it was suicide because he's only 62 and because you'd ceased contact only 4 months prior, and you fear it was the breaking of his heart that killed him. Maybe it's narcissistic to wonder this, but the autopsy reports a massive coronary and that his heart is 3 times the normal size. The Body Farm. Out beyond ideas of doing, on the outskirts of a town near Trois-Rivières, Quebec, there is a field of undoing. Donated to science, dead bodies positioned among the trees or in shallow ditches rot in the open air. The thought of your own dead body appalls you with its obscene but vague inevitability. With the same compulsion you once had to chew aluminum foil with your metal fillings, you surf morbid photos of fatal traffic accidents. You fixate on the Latin phrase memento mori. You practice corpse pose in yoga class. You destroy your reputation. But the best way to soften into the acute human condition is to fall in love with sandpaper. Luckily, you find the roughest man among the mollusks, the maker of the finest pearls. After examining his secret pornography collection, monstrously large men with girl after sex-lipped girl in postures like ripening smell, you let go the desire for spectacle and reconcile yourself to the slow, easy amble of your biological age. You die before you die, and for the first time, feel alive. A Montreal screenwriter calls me, wanting to make a docuseries about my book. He asks if I was on good terms with Tony when he died, and I lie to him. After hanging up, I fall completely apart. My psychiatrist admits me to Providence Care Hospital. Your favorite Spanish psychiatrist. You abandon the gift of words you received in Carolyn Smart's writing class, and you discard your friend Diana after she hands you the silence between words. So you declare, here and now, your most grateful gratitude for Carolyn and Diana and all the others, and for Dr. Cabrera, who fills your psychiatric file with exquisite green and purple calligraphy, who feeds you a piece of cantaloupe from his own fork, because he points you where to go, that miracle place where there are no words or thoughts, where there is no thing that is not you, no thing that is not true. The first 7 days in the hospital, I'm confined to my little room for mandatory COVID quarantine. I feel the first pangs of freedom. Oh my God. feeding the starved. You hear the term skin hunger on a television show about parents grieving their dead children. When forced to choose between a wire mesh mother substitute that provides milk or a terry cloth substitute with no milk, starving baby rhesus monkeys will cling to the soft, milkless mothers every time. When your daughter is born, you insist they lay her immediately upon your naked breast. At least you knew enough back then to give her that. There's a scene you always think of from the film Under the Skin, where Scarlett Johansson invites a profoundly disfigured man to touch her, to feel her exquisite velvet neck. After you're hospitalized, you need someone, anyone, to make spoons with you on the skinny bed while you weep.
I love you.
I'm given a psychedelic medicine used for treatment-resistant depression, intravenous ketamine. During my first treatment, immobile on the bed, I feel the utter absence of anxiety. A man across the room from me is retching as he wakes up from his ECT, but I feel only the bliss of zero gravity. My next treatments fill me with immense gratitude. I'm grateful for it all, even the suffering. I can see myself from a bird's eye view. I'd been mistaking my own shadow for a monster. There are no monsters. Ursa Major has no true position. It all depends on where you're looking from. A frog, a flower, my own body. These are more transient than time, always both living and dying. The stars are like sea spray, already evaporated. We're part of everything. Nothing is separate. The atmosphere, life and death, frogs. I know who I am. I know this more surely than I know anything else.
Look, your rainbow getting bigger. You know what's at the end of a rainbow? What? Pot of gold. A pot of gold? That's what they say.
The sword in our hearts. You hear them first, hundreds of crows, a murder in the front yard trees. They visit you and him 3 times that last fall, and in the spring, you are surprised early mornings by wild turkeys pecking your lawn. You and he feed entire loaves of whole wheat bread to the backyard squirrels daily. One you name after Chogyam Trungpa, the bad boy of Buddhism, because it snatches bread from your fingertips with the fearlessness of crazy wisdom. That last winter is a good one for the squirrels. Their brains aren't infected by raccoon roundworm like previous winters, when they died frozen to the back deck. And you see a new sweetness in him, a softly spreading acceptance of all things. He learns to pet the cats infinitely more gently and grows a sad and tender warrior heart, the first step on the long road to making friends with himself. When you are you're already in Detroit, you don't have to take a bus to get there. You're like Ram Dass when he does psychedelics for the first time, forgetting the name Richard Alpert, dancing, ecstatic-throated in the snow. And your own throat opens wide enough to hold a sea urchin, a purely light-sensitive creature, its spiny body one big eye. You open to that luminous liminal place where you have unknowingly always been, where the unseen is seen. All the world's a stage. You see an episode of The Littlest Hobo. You wonder what wizard behind the curtain gives that amazing German shepherd such heroism, risking life and limb chasing down bank robbers, freeing strangers trapped under overturned trucks with just his furry little jaws. And then you realize there is no wizard, because the wizard is you, and the littlest hobo is you, and the whole world is full of people who are called you, too. And you all go to the movies and watch images flicker across a blank screen, and you all cry and laugh and wince and gasp accordingly. Tony once told you he played Samuels, the Italian cab driver. He drove the shepherd in his cab and said, "Boy, that's a one smart dog." And that's you. You're smart. You travel light. That's hobo style. And the whole world is your home. The show must go on. And it's all a musical. You're the young and impetuous Swiss nun in love with Christopher Plummer. You're supposed to break into song. And there's no excuse for any excuses. Everyone has their own natural circadian rhythm, their own living, beating drum. You just have to be quiet for a moment and listen. Lub-dub, 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 lub-dub. Then you simply sing your glorious heart